And we are live, Canadian wine lovers. It is night number 10 of our Advent wine calendar, Canadian wine reveals. So nice to see you guys.
Woohoo! Canadian wine
How are you
lovers,
doing,
Carl's
Girl
Wine Club
Boucher?
members, everyone across the country. Mira Boucher.
Carl Boucher.
Yes, night number 10 of our trek across Canada, Pan-Canadian Advent Calendar. Wow, what an adventure it is on a nightly basis. So many great conversations, not only with the winemaker, winery owners, but also with our members. I mean, these conversations that are popping up every single night about the wines, about wine trips, about culture, about everything. There's a little bit of trash talks happening as well. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so, that's what we're talking about the community, and our communities getting together on a nightly basis is just so much fun. I'm sorry. And you guys know that Miro has been sick for the last week or so. I
I
mean,
just passed on the germs. I'm
I
so sorry.
mean, I thought it was. I was concrete. I was. No, 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 no.
There was
So
an
it's.
incubation period. We thought, oh, the germs are not going after Carl. But no, they were just incubating.
Yeah, 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 and it's gotta smash me today. But hey, we're here. We're gonna taste one of my surprise wine of that Advent calendar. All of these 12s, there was probably eight that I no, maybe nine that I knew they were bomb. They were rock star. I knew without the shadow of a doubt. This one was the only one that I got blind, that I got without even tasting it before. Mira was not too much for my guessing. She was not so much supportive of my guessing, but we did, and holy smokes, that it paid off. It paid off. I'm so grateful. We got a side chat going on Messenger, and there's a few of you who already tasted it this later, about maybe an hour ago. I got some messages that the wine is stunning. So it's really exciting. So wine number 10, night number 10, interview number 10. Yeah, Mira, how did you feel?
Good, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I probably feel better than I sound. It's all coming out today. All the phlegm, all the la la la.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how it's affected my palate. So, I can still smell. That's
Do
so
you?
good.
Do
Yes.
you? I mean, this varietal is very specific on the nose. Uh, it's fairly, it's not Sauvignon Blanc, it's not Riesling, obvious, but there's a very typical smells on that varietal. So, and what's exciting also, it's such a new winery. The winery that it's coming from is a very new player. Now let's go with some hint. Let's go with some clues. Now, if from Niagara, located on the in the Lincoln Lake Shore appellation, the biggest, largest appellation in Niagara. But yeah, we featured
That
that.
orange one
Eh?
closest to the lake there. The orange one there closest to the lake. It's a huge one.
Yeah, yeah, it's so wide. Like there's like all the way from almost Hamilton and Grimsby, where Linning Post is located, all the way up to the escarpment foothill, and yeah, there's so much to cover in that. And I bet I had some conversation with winemakers and winery owners about that. Um, and I bet that it's mark my word here that the Lincoln Lake Shore is the next sub appellation to be split in
Huh.
maybe one or maybe two other sub
Just because it's so
appellation,
big. Yeah.
because it's big and because there's very distinctive element in that one who separates the where Grimsby is and Grimsby Hillside Vineyard, and all the way that part where our winery reveal is today, just on the foothill, almost just below the Beamsville Bench. So I mean, there's a lot of not discrepancy but difference into that appellation, and I think that it's going to
Yeah,
be the
needs to
one
be
where
fleshed out a little bit more. Daryl's giving us lots of other hints. He guessed the grape by process of elimination and the food pairing suggestion, which was turkey with ginger.
turkey meatballs.
What's that?
Turkey
Turkey
meatballs.
meatballs. Yes. And his only complaint is that it's a 20-minute bottle. It should have been a Magnum.
Yeah,
And little
I know.
fact,
They just didn't. They did,
same
just didn't
winery,
bottle.
the same winery made Daryl's favorite 2020 Chardonnay from that area. 20-minute bottle, right? That should be a little label next to the wines that drink like that. This is a 20-minute bottle. This is a 2-hour bottle. This is a.
I know, right? I know.
How drinkable, how fast. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's a really special bottle. I totally threw me by surprise. What score did you give this bottle?
93 points.
I think it's your highest rated for this varietal. So
yeah, I don't think. And then it's funny because I had. Was it 3 years ago? 3 years ago when I met the winery owner, which they were very like it was so new in the market, and that varietal was my second favorite wine of his lineup. And he said, "Wait a minute, like wait, because like we're gonna be known. I want to be known for that varietal." And talking to him later on, earlier this year, especially when we visited them this summer, because we had a wonderful event at their winery, amazing event at their winery. Some of our people here were there, including I can't say, but anyway, say Carl, that varietal now it's by far my best one that we've done so far. Perfect vintage for that. And so here we are. So I think that like we're going with little hints, little clues here and there. How about we just unwrap that darn thing?
yes, let's unwrap it.
I couldn't find the number 10, the little sticker number 10,
So
so
we
I can
opened
do
our version of
one.
this a couple days ago when Carl did the interview. So tonight's interview, the next couple interviews are pre-recorded just because these winery owners are traveling or they're with family. But yes, open her up.
We'll
Will you
open
put
her up.
number 10 on there?
This is Black Bank Hill Viognier 2023. There you go. We visited Black Bank Hill last summer when we did our Burgundy Canada showdown hosted at Black Bank Hill, and it was they did an incredible job. Thomas Batchelder was our guest speaker there that day, and yeah, like Taylor Emerson and his team hosted an incredible event. We sure hope to do that again. That Canada versus International showdown. This is that's for sure in our radar. But what an amazing day! So that was with Taylor Emerson and his team, where Clausen Chase, Meyer, Batchelder, De Silva, Clausen Chase, and one more, and Black Bank Hill were on
There
display
you go. There's the
versus
winery.
Lightning Rock as well. Were on display, facing international Burgundian varietals. So we have the Viognier here, the 2023, beautiful aromatic, beautiful texture, not oily Viognier. That what I'm not. I haven't come across an oily, texturally Viognier from Canada that sometimes you get from the Northern Rhone, and that's why I think that coming on our own in terms of style and delivery of each and every varietal that we work with. I got Viogniers. Viognier is usually very textural, and yes, this is very textural. I love the little flinty finish. I love the floral aromas, but the apricot and the generosity of the mid palate is absolutely stunning. Bright acidity, longer finish. And Taylor is mentioning in the interview that, yeah, this is his very favorite vintage of his Viognier, the more complete. The more complex. And it's because it's very simple, because his vines are getting older, right? So that's the logic of the whole thing. They're their their vines, they planted is the vineyard, I think it's in 2017. And I can't wait for you to listen to the interview, because he's giving us some very good insight of his thought process when planting. So really, really cool. But yeah, he started with 10 different varietals at the beginning with his vision, and guess what, they're all still going today. So when you have a business plan, usually you put a business plan together and you adjust over the years, right? To adapt to the market, to adapt to the little mistake that you made. No, the 10 varietals that he wanted to produce are still in today. And that's what it's, I thought it was really cool to have that conversation. But yeah, Viognier and Arglass. I was looking in the pairing, I was looking for something with the honey glaze, honey ginger, or like that turkey meatball, something like will sustain that beautiful rich fruit, that bright acidity and that floral component. So I've heard on our side chat that the pairing was pretty darn good, so I'm glad to hear.
Decent pairing, Mike says. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were trying to go for like appy style pairings.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
if we have your tasting notes, you usually do like dinner pairings, but we're trying to go for like easy, appy, quick things.
Mm.
Yeah, the
Yeah, so
floral, they're all it's a really special Viognier. Very good.
yeah.
So Taylor Emerson, and I had the pictures up there with his partner as well. Great, great people. We've run into them at different wine events. Like he's been a serious wine freak for quite some time, and recently opened the winery. So yeah, I'm excited to hear from him more because it's an up and coming um, winery. We did that event last summer, and we can tell like the quality that's coming out of there and the
Oh,
authenticity of it.
I
You
mean, their
know,
Pinots are fantastic. Just won platinum at the Wine Line for their Cap Franc. Their Chardonnays are off the charts. I mean, they make us. Oh, they got some insights in that interview. They just bottled two Syrahs, two different styles of Syrah, a co-fermented and a straight Syrah, like bottled in two separate bottling, small batch.
wow,
And yeah, I mean they're crushing it. It's just so cool to see that small producer just following his dream and just keep plowing away. Like you said, he wanted to stay small. He wanted to keep the team small in a sense that he can have his thumb on every single aspect. He never wanted to be too big, and but everything would be about quality. Every single varietals will be about quality.
love
So
it. And guess what? Stacy and Jeff are having the Black Bank Hill Pinot Noir at the Labano Christmas dinner tomorrow night. So that's brilliant too.
that
Very
is
cool. I can't
brilliant.
wait to hear more from him. Um,
Yes, the cap Sove. So James mentioning about the cap Sove release. Absolutely, we mentioned he's mentioning that in the interview as well. That is the release of the this week. That he's very proud about the cap Sove. He said it's probably the D varietal who over delivered the most in his portfolio. He didn't expect cap Sove to go as a single varietal. And I guess surprising him, his site is very surprising, delivering a capsule that he maybe did not expect to be that high quality. But that is staying grown Viognier from their own vineyard. Two clones of Viognier, the 642 and the 1042. These are usually, I think there's one of the Rhone Valley clone and the other one is a North American clone. 19 months of élevage. So 19 months of aging in French oak, fermented in French oak, all neutral, no new oak here, all neutral and fermented also. So everything from the press, press the grape press the grape, and everything goes to ferment in oak and age in oak. So that provides that beautiful texture, even if it's not new oak, it's neutral oak that still with the micro oxygenation just deliver a beautiful texture, and this one is very beautiful in terms of texture. 14% alcohol, which I don't complain. Viognier at 14%, very usual. This wine can sustain that. These varietals can very well sustain a higher level of alcohol. And what surprised me, it's the level of acidity. Viognier typically doesn't have a very high acid level. That's why it's usually a very soft and plush type of um, of grape varietals, especially bottled as a single varietal. And yeah, but there's a very bright and crisp acid in there, which makes it very well balanced. So
It's a spectacular Viognier, and like Daryl said, got beautiful aromatics on the nose as well. And there's that oiliness that you don't. It didn't like strike me on this. Like sometimes Viognier can get like that, so
but
it's
it's
light
textural
and
without
refreshing.
being oily. That's the thing. It's
Yeah,
textural without being oily. And that's what I like. That's what I like. So
Dana and Scott like the pairing, so that's good. Um, yeah, and it sounds like their award-winning Cab Franc is at the LCBO this week, which is really cool.
no, it's the Cap Sauv. They're releasing the Cap Sauv.
Oh, the Cab Sauv
Yeah, the
won
Cap
92
Sauv,
points.
single
Oh,
varietal
sorry.
Cap Sauv. Cap Franc has been out when they won platinum. Things went completely
Bonker. Been sold
bonkers.
out for a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Well, fabulous. Well, let's hear from Taylor Emerson from Black Bank Hill all about this wine.
Ooh, here you go, wine number
Hey, Tom.
10.
Hey, man.
Hey, Taylor Emerson, Black Bank Hill
How are
Winery
you?
from the Lincoln Lakeshore Appellation in Niagara. Taylor, happy holidays. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you, Carl and Mira and the family. We're doing great. We're doing great. Thank you.
Is it slowing down a little bit now? Because it was a whirlwind of a 2025. Big
It,
harvest, big crop, big everything, big.
it was.
So,
It was a great year, but wow, I don't think we stopped. And well, we couldn't. We're having too much fun, and yeah, we're finally things are settling a little bit, and we're going to enjoy a little time off for sure.
was it the biggest year on record for Black Bank Hill in terms of production and in terms of not expansion, but in terms of growth?
It definitely growth. It was just lots of activity, lots of interest in the wines. And yes, the production, every year we're notching up our production. We're just sort of timing the production with our sales growth and our sales capacity. And yeah, it was just exactly it's across the board, a little bit more of everything, which was great. Yeah.
Boy, no complaint on the growth side, that's for sure. And I think I'm not going to attribute that to one factor, but one thing I think really helped, and what I'm talking to a lot of Ontario, Niagara, Prince Edward County wineries, is there was a big shift with the trade tariff war and all of that. The move that the government made and the LCBO to kibosh all of the American product. But that was not that move. And the key move in all of that was to replace the American product with not Ontario product, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's absolutely true. I mean, for us, we don't have a long runway to say that, our sales were here last year and our sales are growing because we're a young winery that's bringing on new members and launching more wines mostly. But I'll give you an example. I think the Cab Franc, 22 Cab Franc won a platinum this summer. And that was just as that was happening. And that people certainly got that message and were trying that wine in it. People were using words like, Napa replacement. It had the whole Cabernet. It had bigness. It had structure. Had lots of fruit. And actually, it's interesting. Today, we're launching a Cabernet Sauvignon in the LCBO. And so we got a little bit known for red wines this year, for sure. And this Cabernet Sauvignon, it's launching today, and it's already sold like a couple hundred bottles. We only give them one pallet. We give them 56 cases. It's just a small release. But there's this huge pent-up demand for Cabernet Sauvignon, and people they are associating our brand with
red wine,
complete red wines. It's part of our terroir where we are in Niagara. We're in a very nice warm pocket just on the north side of King Street at the base of the escarpment, and we've always had no problem getting good complete phenolic ripeness with the reds. And
that is interesting that you're saying that, because because that boost, and I heard that across the board from all of the wineries that we know very well, and say, okay, that move was very critical. And I'm really thinking right now that this is truly the golden age for Ontario wines in Ontario, because Ontario was known that it's the biggest buyer of wine and alcohol around the world, the single buyer, but people are drinking in Ontario everything but not true, but there was Ontario wine was not at the forefront.
No, you're absolutely right. And as Niagara winemakers, and this is a collective thing, this isn't just us, but all of us are on a mission to get Canadians drinking our local wines. Now, British Columbia was a different dynamic. The local
Absolutely, very different, very, very different.
It went up to 25-30% of sales pretty quickly. There was this. With Ontario, I think particularly, there's just a different culture and such a focus on traditional European wines.
Yeah.
But you're hitting the nail on the head. This theme this year, whereby we're actually getting people that are more interested in local wines and European wines. And, we spoke at the Vintage Conservatory in Toronto a month or so ago. There's some beautiful European wines there, and you're going to hear me say this again and again, but our wines now, I don't taste European wines with any sense that they're ahead of us or better at all. In fact, the more, even long-time Niagara drinker, the more I drink Canadian wines, the more I think our terroir is exceptional. And it's branding, it's history, it's perception, and our wines are just getting better and better. So there's the wine quality. There was the event with the LCBO and the American wines and the tariff and the trade war. And when you see people, this effect of people connecting with their local produce as a food product, as something that's part of our environment, part of our culture, part of our heritage. It's a very exciting move. And it's like natural. Everybody else in the world drinks wine that way, right? And everybody watching tonight right now is already part of that conversion. So we all know what we're talking about here, and it's almost more natural to just pick up a local wine, and it's a different thought process.
I 6 years ago almost now, when Mira and I, especially Mira, when Mira was like, let's focus on Canadian wine exclusively, people thought we were on crack. People thought we were just cheerleaders, heavily subsidized by wineries, and just to see what we're seeing. But I tell you, when I got that big contract with WestJet all the way back to 2016 to source wine for Canadian Airlines, and the CEO said, Carl, I want you to put Canadian wines on board. I was the first one to say, holy shit, how am I going to do that? And I started to dig deeper, and I fell in love with what we do in our own backyard. It was back in 2016. I remember 2020, 2021. 2021 was mostly like in front of our screen and selling, everyone were buying wine. But when 2022, things are starting to restart normally.
Yeah.
We felt like wonk. Everyone went back to their own old habit, and it was all back to Cali Cab and like international wine and I mean we stuck with it. We said no, this is the you mentioned the terroir. The terroir is so unique and so special where we are that we truly believe that that's going to come back, and we're seeing that shift right now. Where and like we're definitely high fiving Mira and I say like there's that little line. We told you so,
Yeah,
right? And like
it's
that little victory laps and saying, and I see all of these little Canadian supporter now, like, oh yeah, I've been on the bandwagon for so long, and so it's kind of funny to see how things are turning out.
it's like a flash. It's like a light bulb moment for people. It's a personal thing. It just you can't really hit somebody over the head with it. I can go blah 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 as long, but when it happens to the individual, it happens for them, and they're like, I see our wines in a different light now, and that's super exciting. It's the wine journey is very naturally like just part of your local food. So for Canadians right now, I'm going to talk about Ontario. It's like it's a backwards journey. It's like coming back home. It's a return to use a little bit crystally sounding metaphor. It's a return to the self, really.
Yeah, yeah.
As a and which is it's different than what the rest of the world has traditionally experienced.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And the new iteration of Carl's Wine Club, our new like the future of us. It's we're sticking 100% with Canadian wine, but we're taking Canadian wines at international level now.
Yeah.
We want to bring more, like we did at your winery. That's exactly so cool. We're talking. It was not even thought before. I didn't even think about that the segue, but that's what we did at
Yes.
Black Bank Hill this summer. We did the Canada versus Burgundy showdown because we believe to have the comp right next to the Canada is the best way to understand. Holy shit! Yeah, these Burgundian wine are not better than ours. They're
They're not.
not, but ours are way better priced. So there's so many great comp that we can bring along, and that's what the new iteration. That's what we want to do more and more and more to put our world class Rieslings alongside German Spatzlese or Cabinet or like great wine from the Rhine or from the Mosel or Chardonnays and Pinots and the Syrahs from the south of the Rhone Valley, the Cab with the like there's so many things we can do on that level to showcase the extreme potential of what we do at home.
1,000%. And it's I like what you're. It's not just Chardonnay and Pinot. It's
Oh,
we had a Christmas party, and I always like to do our little wine company party and bring a couple fancy European wines that I've had since I was buying wines, collecting wines myself, and we produced a Syrah that we're extremely proud of. And so I brought a pretty fancy Syrah from Côte Rôtie, and we loved it. It smelled great, but we were all like, I think our wine is better.
and when you look at the price tag of the Côte Rôtie these days, I mean, the Black Bank Hill for $45 kicks some ass. Holy shit, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, and
the
that's what
wines
we.
have, our wines have a great energy to them, and they have a personality. And when you see them for what they are, and you're not comparing to other wines, and you just see them as individuals, they stand out. They burst. It's great.
Hey, I'm 11 minutes behind right here. I was supposed to start right out the gate with the story of Black Bank Hill, but we
No,
got on the tangent, man, and I love that. I
it
love
happens.
those fire chat conversation. It's completely
We're
impromptu.
both passionate,
Hey, you can tell, right? What did I tell you pre-recording? We're gonna start with the story of Black Bank Hill. It's 11 minutes and 35 seconds, and we haven't been there yet. Love it. How
We
about we start Black Bank Hill Winery? You have a partner, like someone who's been with you from the beginning. I would say.
well,
So
no,
Jonathan.
John joined me in 2021.
Okay, sorry. So that's you from the ground up to start. You started Black Bank Hill on your own. You brought Jonathan with you a little later on. So how about you tell the story? Don't let me fuck it up too much. So
When 2021 Jonathan joining me was a turning point because it's not that I was figuring a lot of stuff out, and I had no direct experience in the industry. So I was doing my own personal, private, quiet learning, planting the vineyard, making some wines virtually. But if we were going to go anywhere, I needed a Jonathan, somebody great experienced winemaker, great winemaker, and he brought more than winemaking to the project. He brought experience. So yeah, I do think of him as a partner. But it started in 2017. I found the property in late 2016, and I'd gone to winemaking school in 2016.
Okay, so and what's your background?
I was in digital media. I was at the Weather Network. I was running the interactive, the digital business of the Weather Network for a number of years. And I was there for 17 years altogether. And then we ended up doing some development projects in Europe. So we acquired a weather company in Spain, and then did a startup in England. And it was in England that that part of my life ended. It was a great, very dynamic period. And then I just followed my wine passion that had been growing for 15 years at that point, starting in Niagara. Where I did my first tasting, but I was growing up in Toronto, and just exactly as we were describing before, drinking international wines. See, the LCBO is great. It'll teach you about the whole world of wines. But I had that right around the lake, and we'd go on the weekends and taste wine. So we had a local wine region. So I was doing both things at the same time. It was really very interesting, and getting to know Niagara. And we got to Niagara on the Lake once in a while, but we always ended up in the escarpment side because there was great wineries there, and we liked them, and they were closer. We could go down and back quickly. So that was where it started. And this seed, I think around 2010, I had this moment when I was working. I wasn't even thinking of leaving my job, but I started looking for real estate. And then that was just like a blip, like a month, and then that disappeared. And I came back to it almost 10 years later. So there was this seed inside of me that I went to wine school. I didn't know that I was going to start a winery, but at some point during that education process and that exploration process, I knew I was going to come back to Canada and do it.
You did the wine school in England?
Yeah, I was in England. We were making sparkling wine. It was an agricultural college. It was a really neat place called Plumpton College, and an agricultural school. So they have livestock, they have crops, they have flowers. And a fellow who was English, but one of his parents was French, grew up in Bordeaux, was the vineyard manager at Chateau d'Yquem.
Oh, okay.
From
just a little bit of tradition there.
A little bit there, and he moved back to England, and he was also an academic, and started the wine school in Sussex, and it was just a really neat place. And it was really just looking at. There was a lot of parallels at the time between the sparkling wine growth and the local growth of the local market in England at that time in Niagara, in terms of like scale and development and adoption by the local market and challenging huge international incumbents. London has been at the front of the international wine market since it started. And some argue that they sort of started the internationalization of wine and shipping from Bordeaux and Portugal and all those ports and stuff. So they had that same dynamic of convincing the local market that their product was as good as champagne. And that's kind of exactly the same thing that we're going through. So it was neat. There was a lot of parallels, and there was a lot of believing in yourself against very entrenched historical brands that are deeply built into people's subconscious.
So you found the property in the Lincoln Lakeshore appellation in late 2016, and you started to plant in 2017. Your vision when you started to plant the vineyard, is that vision has changed much more, has changed a lot since 2017? I mean, you planted your original planting, but I mean, I don't think that there's any business model, business plan to stay static in a 8-9 years period. So tell me, like, what was it looks like in 2017 when you started to plant, and right now?
It wasn't perfect by any means, but to be honest with you, we've stuck to the original vision, or I haven't. It was really an idea of preference. There was a couple main ideas. One was that we would be a single vineyard site. So we grew our own fruit. We wouldn't buy fruit, and it would all be grown, produced, and bottled locally on site. And the other is that we didn't ever want to we had no desires of being big per se. Staying small, it was two ways of being focused on one thing: the site, the best varietals on that site, and not trying to be big and make a lot, but be big enough to be economically viable and be sustainable. Be sustainable from an agriculture and an environmental standpoint, but also from an
Financial standpoint.
But actually, the idea of being sustainable by keeping it small, not ending up with a big overhead, a lot of employees, an HR department, a finance department, and then get distracted and have to do all these things. Just keep a small team that's really focused on wine. And that's still a work in progress in terms of making that dream a reality. But the longer we do it, the more I believe it was the right overall approach. Not perfect in that I probably wouldn't have planted so many acres so early. I would have graduated that out a little bit and made the growth a little bit slower, and probably not planted as many varietals as I did. But a lot of that learning is really necessary in terms of finding out what works on your site. I planted originally 5 white and 5 black varietals that to me all were very indicative and expressive and successful in Niagara escarpment terroir.
And from the 10 that you planted originally, how many are you still harvesting?
All of them.
That's freaking awesome. That is freaking cool. I love that.
But we might be removing some blocks of some of those, and the levels aren't perfect by any means. And some of we want to put some more emphasis on the stuff that's doing really well, and a little bit less emphasis. And we're making probably too many wines right now. So we're sort of in this phase of, okay, what's
streamlining,
really successful, and let's simplify our lives a little bit.
So let me guess here. On the red side, let me think of Cab Franc, Syrah, and Pinot Noir. Are 3 of your core of what you're doing? Am I far off?
Cab Sauv and Merlot are the other 2.
Okay.
But you're bang on. And I would say that the 3 that you mentioned are like definitely, in terms of, they're in the most visible ones. Although the Cab Sauv is really where Jonathan is dialing in how to crop it and when to pick it and how to grow it, and it's becoming exceptional. A lot of people there's a lot of anti-Cab Sauv.
Yep. Niagara Cab Sauv. It's not like it's for the 2020 vintage. That's it, right? That that like narrative that if you're not growing 07, 20, these banner vintage. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, there's consistency there also to see.
It's the climate is changing, but
yep.
A lot of the word that I heard was 1 in 4 vintages you could make a nice proper wine. What a lot of those people were doing though was selling grapes, so they're cropping a lot higher, and we're growing grapes to make wine, and so we can crop appropriately. The other thing is, as I was saying, we're not on the bench. We're just at the bottom of the bench. So it's very much an escarpment-driven site, but it's warmer, and there's some good heat accumulation, and we get really long hours of sunshine down there without any shading. So we can ripen stuff that is more difficult in the other areas of Niagara, and you see that in the Syrah. The Viognier is a classic example of that. That's a wine that, at the high 12s, 13%, it's still a pretty neutral white wine. You need to get it up 13.5, 14 for the real varietal characteristics of that wine to come out. Niagara's challenge is the length of the growing season. We have lots of heat, but we're compacting that in a shorter period of time. And so you need good long days of sunshine and warmth. And
I mean, you're bringing me exactly where I wanted to go. It's that 2023 Viognier. I mean, we had a Viognier conversation. I believe it's in 2022, the very first time that you and me talk.
yeah, sure.
We had a Viognier conversation, and I mentioned to you that there's not a whole lot of good Viognier in Canada. And you said, Carl, it's going to change. I'm working on that. Viognier is one of my passion. I tasted your first Viognier, and I thought it was absolutely freaking brilliant. And you said, wait, I'm just getting started. And yeah, that's true. I remember our conversation. And now, I mean, now this is your third vintage of Viognier that you're making.
That's right. Yeah.
I have to say that's my favorite of the three. I think
me too.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely is, and I really love the first two. So that's where I'm going with that. I mean, this wine, I know it's funny because I know my business partner very well, and I know that I'm bang on my score before I tell Mira, and she sniffs and she has a sip and she looks at me. She said right out of the gate, "You better rate that 93 or better." and usually I have my little score on a piece of paper and I turn the paper. It says 93 plus. You're bang on, honey. So we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it with that wine. And I like it that you're a little bit more, we are on a higher side of alcohol. I like a Viognier with humph. I like a Viognier with a little bold. It's not oily. It's not over extracted. It's not hot, but it's varietal.
Yeah.
Typicity of varietal. And for me, I'm looking south of the Rhone Valley. It's a northern Rhone and like these bigger, bolder, and that's what I got in there.
This is very important to us. We make blends, but we make a number of varietal wines, and it's very important that they taste like the varietal, and you get them varietally
authentic,
specific, this Viognier is, there's a couple of things you're noticing. The vines, and this is across the board, are getting older, so they're starting to show themselves. 23 is also a fascinating vintage for the white wines. Actually, we just tasted through a bunch of the reds from 23 for the first time last week, just planning the releases for next year. And it's an exceptional vintage. It's become one of my favorite vintages because, as you say, there's a freshness there, and there's an elegance, and there's a precision there that you don't see in 22 even. Mm-hmm. It had, if you look at the stats, it had more heating degree units, but it has more of a cool climate
energy. There's an energy and tension in the 23s that I didn't expect.
It's a fantastic vintage, and people will see, I think, in time notice how you've seen it in the whites. Remember the Burgundy tasting, and you tasted some of the white Chardonnays from 23. And I remember you saying this is going to be a great Chardonnay vintage. Well, it's more than just a great Chardonnay vintage. It's this one. You said it's not oily. I agree with you. There's a freshness to it. And I've got a real interesting thought on that. One is it was bottled in late July of this year of 25. We released this wine. We usually keep wine in bottle for at least 6 months before we release it, but it was showing beautifully already. But you remember back to the 21s, at about 9 to 12 months in bottle, it kind of the wine grows up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it puts on a little fat. It gets out of its teenage years, and it'll put on a bit of weight, and that it's got the mouthfeels there, but the oiliness, I think, will come out, and it'll show something as it ages that I'm really looking forward to. This wine's going to last in the cellar, I think, quite a bit longer than the 21 and 22 for that reason.
Oh, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. I think you have the, like you mentioned, the degree days to support that. So in terms of ferment and aging, did you follow the exact same recipes with the 21 and the 22? Same standard? I think you're 19 months in neutral oak.
Yep.
You ferment in oak as well. You don't ferment in tank. You ferment in barrel for this.
Jonathan picked a press that's like a very traditional press. It's a vertical basket press. It's not a bladder press. It's not modern. It's not rummaging. You get extremely clean juice out of it, and we can go straight from that press into barrel. So you get all the natural yeasts, enzymes on the skins. Everything's getting into that barrel to drive that fermentation, and you get all those subtleties. The winemaking is simple, simple, simple. This is like 20. You know what? I love the Viogniers because they show the vintage so well. 21 tastes like 21, 22 tastes like 22, the 23 tastes like 23. And the winemaking is very consistent and simple, in barrel, wild ferment, long élevage, and then we bottle it. We released it this fall because we had so little of the 22 from that. There was only 25 cases or something. So the 22 was gone. We really didn't have any Viognier this year. So we wanted to get this one out. And
That's fun. That's really fun. I mean, I really love the expression. I like the precision. I like the tension, but also I love the forecast. And I love also like that white peach, that like passion fruits that you get. Don't give me a Viognier with no weight on the mid palate. To me, it's not a Viognier. And there's the weight. There's the floral aspect. Man, I want a nice bouillabaisse with that. A nice little like fish stew with mussels or something like that. It's beautiful.
it's a wine that, you can sip it initially and go, oh, that's a really good wine. And then, but if you sit with this wine through a meal with the bottle, every time I come back to it, it shows you something new. It's a journey, and it's got just so much to show you if you spend time with it. It's really lovely.
It is lovely. I love that. So 93 plus points. One of a like I mean, and how much, like there's not a ton made of that, right?
So actually, this is 144 cases of that wine.
So for Black Bank Hill, is it? It's a big batch.
There's a fun chapter 2 that's going to come in 2020. No, in 2021, we planted 2 rows of Marsanne and Roussanne.
Oh, no way!
So we ended up with 7 white varietals. And this was the first vintage that we cropped, third leaf. We cropped a little bit of Marsanne and Roussanne. So we have a Viognier Marsanne Roussanne blend coming out from 23. It was also bottled last summer. It's 50% Viognier, 25% Marsanne, 25% Roussanne. That'll come out next spring. And that was always the idea, is to make a varietal wine and then make a blend. It's a bit like we have our Cab Franc or our Cab Sauv, and then we have the Galaté.
Yeah.
We have the blend. So we made almost 250 cases of Viognier that year, which was 23 was a big harvest for us. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. So Roussanne, Marsanne, Viognier coming up in early this year. That's right? This spring?
Yeah, it'll spring. So we have 2 releases. It starts with the membership, March 15 and September 15. So that we're calling that one Liberté. That'll be in March. Absolutely.
That's awesome. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yes.
That's awesome. Taylor, man, we're at over 30 minutes already.
Oh my good golly.
I mean, you and me can go for half a day without the shadow of a doubt. We didn't even talk about Jonathan, his background. Your winemaker is from BC.
Well, there's one important thing about this wine. Jonathan's winemaking experience is from the Okanagan, and that's sort of where his wine base is and his frame of references in terms of wines and stuff. So he's happy to push, go for a slightly riper and a bigger style of wine, and I'm glad it suits our vineyard, and it suits where we are in Niagara very, very well. And very luckily, almost like just this fortuitous coincidence, he had a lot of exposure making Viognier at Le Vieux Pin and Syrah.
With Severin Lepin.
Yeah, Séverine, and he had a lot of experience with Cab Sauv and Merlot and the Bordeaux varieties at La Stella. And those were just two of the places he worked. But there's a great synergy between what he's really has a very clear vision of, and what we're producing. So a lot of these wines benefit from his background in that area for sure, and the Syrahs for sure.
So it's funny you mentioned. So before I have one more question for you, but you know what I just did? So I had a little bit left of the Viognier in my glass, and right behind my camera, you notice my phone just fell.
Yeah.
So I just realized I had a 23 Syrah right there. And I had a little bit of your of the Viognier left in my glass, and I just poured the Okanagan Syrah, a Bushvine Syrah, in your Viognier. So I just made myself a Pan-Canadian, Northern Rhone type of Syrah Viognier in my glass from a Pan-Canadian 2023 vintage. This is our 223 release in the Advent calendar. So I just made a little blend here.
There you go.
How cool is that? I just saw the label behind my phone. I thought, oh yeah, that 23 Syrah Viognier. Why not?
You'll see our Syrahs in 23. We've got one that's 100%, and we've got one that's 2.5% Viognier co-ferment. So we're a big fan of that style, and it's really interesting to see how just a few percentages of Viognier shows a totally unique side of the wine.
So you did 2 bottling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. And like harvested at the same time? One went 100%, the other one was co-fermented, or did you manage that differently?
We Jonathan's regimen with that is he'll pick the Viognier co-ferment. He'll pick a week or two earlier than the 100% Syrah. And the thinking there is to make that co-ferment go for a slightly more elegant style. And the Viognier brings just that, obviously, that heightened floral element to it, and really gets in with all the aromatics of the Syrah. The 100% has a little bit of whole cluster, so let's call the savory aspect of that wine is from the whole cluster in the ferment, but the wine is usually say like half a brix more ripe, so it's bigger, more, let's call it for richer style, and
a little bit more new world, if I may.
Hard to say, maybe, but certainly focusing on that more, the full complete. You get some of the more woody aspects, a little bit more of that sort of armchair, richer style, denser, a little bit riper, and then the Viognier does that lightens it up and just adds to the aromatics but it's not a lighter wine per se. It's really interesting what it does.
And that's going to be released in the fall.
That's when I was talking about how excited we are about the 23 vintage. Those were the 223 Syrahs we were tasting this week, and we're just figuring out the release plan of that now. They're usually released in the fall, but we're thinking we might mix it up this year. We'll see.
Well, maybe we should think of a full slate Carl's Wine Club feature.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey. For the second time around, I mean, like you're getting me so freaking exciting right now. So
we're pretty excited about next year. So yeah, we got lots to talk about for sure.
Okay, perfect. Let's reconnect after Christmas. Let's get a little bit of a break. Let's brainstorm after Christmas. I should be there in February as well for a few events that we're planning. So Taylor Emerson. Man, I love our conversation. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you guys, you and Mira and the family. Have a great one. It's always great to catch up with you, Carl.
Thank you very much. And with my Pan-Canadian Syrah Viognier here in my glass, I say cheers to you and your whole team. Thank you, Tyler.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Thanks for everybody's support.
Thank you.
Great holiday and New Year's, everyone.
Nice. That was fun, especially your Pan-Canadian
Did you like it?
That's pretty awesome.
I don't know. It was just so on plan. And I was like, oh, 23. Like, and we were having that conversation right at the same time. And yeah, and when you heard like the, it's my phone flipped and the label of Maverick just came right. I was like, oh. So yeah,
The
that's pretty cool.
blender, the
And it
blending
was freaking
specialist.
awesome. It was so good.
That's amazing. Jenny
Yeah.
wants more of his wines. Daryl wants us to see if there's still a 2020 Chardonnay left. I don't think so because they're on 2022 now.
I just texted Taylor,
But
Daryl. I sent him a text during the interview, so we'll see. I know he's
we'll
spending
find
time with
out.
his dad right now, but I'll let you know as soon as he gets back to me. I'm not sure. 2020 is it's a heck of a crapshoot. I'm not, yeah,
Because it was
but
yeah. It's a new
we'll
winery,
see.
so I don't think that
But
he's holding much.
I really enjoyed that interview. Honestly,
That was really awesome.
it was really awesome. Really, really awesome. He's fantastic. So more to come with Black Bank Hill, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah, we
So
can definitely
yeah,
get more of the Viognier, and we'll see about Chardonnay.
yeah. Well,
And
the
yeah,
Viognier, absolutely, and I think Mira and I are going to get more. I think I would love to order maybe a 6-pack to put that
it's
in
a
here for us.
really nice
Yeah, and
Viognier.
that's gonna give me when I work on the south on the Rhone Valley trip, we can pour a glass of Viognier and brainstorm, put us
Inspiration.
in the inspiration. Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you guys are right. Like Taylor is a really cool guy, and you can tell he's a wine nerd. Like he was his whole life. And now he gets to have his own winery, so we get to benefit from that. Did someone
That's
say
it, right?
Chardonnay?
The Weather
Yeah,
Network marketing guy, like I love his background. I just love this
yeah, he
progression
did
from.
something with the Weather Network before, and he was
Oh,
traveling all over the place. And
well, it was part of the interview. Maybe we missed it when you and me were talking,
yeah,
but yeah,
we were
he mentioned it. Like that's why.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. All right, we better go before I lose my voice again.
so I
Um,
have to go to the arena. I have a last hockey practice to get going. So yeah,
There you go. There you go. Wanda, I will try to email you. I messengered you the other day. You won the prize for the other day. So we have to see which one you prefer. Anyone else who won in the last few days, it's not hit the road because there was a freaking pileup of 5 trucks that shut down the second highway coming in and out of the Okanagan. So both the highways coming in and out of the Okanagan have been shut down on and off for weeks now, and nothing's leaving. Like they're not even picking up more packages right now, which is for the best because the rest of the country is frozen. But
we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go.
okay, what I wanted to say is that tonight's prize, you get to pick from the usuals: an Ovino, surprise bottle of wine,
A shirt.
the carrot chocolates, but also we just launched new experiences. We did this kind of quietly and we'll explain them more. But for those of you that are keen, you can check them out. So we have 4 new events, bucket list type of full day wine tours in the Okanagan. And then we have 4 new web events, which are also experiences, a little bit like these live shows, but much more structured and fun, and you learn a lot. We get to download a lot of interesting things. Great if you're planning like a wine trip on your own. So one of the prizes you can win, you can choose, is one of those experiences, and you can find them at the link I'm going to put in the chat in just a moment here. There you go, experiences. So you can win one of the virtual experiences that are on there. Here we go. Scott,
There
that's
you go. So
awesome.
Scott is Dana's husband. There you go. There you
You know what's
go.
funny? Because Dana's wine has not left yet because of the shipping situation I was describing. So I guess yours will go together. So I'll email you a little later, Scott, to see what you'd like to add to that. Congrats! Congrats! Great to see you guys. 2 more days coming up tomorrow and Christmas Day, but we're on early tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific start.
5 p.m. Eastern, and Yeah, 3 p.m. Mountain. So, guys, that was a heck of a show. I'm super thrilled for tomorrow. Two more to go. And we'll see you at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon for Christmas Eve show. So, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, we'll see you again tomorrow afternoon.
Have a great night.